Looney Loomers, Joyce here again. Welcome back for another one of my Looney tutorials, number 6 this time. It has been so much fun to make these tutorials for you. It is a lot of work, but so rewarding because of all of your kind reactions, so thanks a lot for that. Today we're making one of my new loom designs, as you can see here on the table. And it's one you can do on just one loom because it's only 3 bars wide. Now it is quite wide for a 3-bar design and it lays really flat on your wrist. I've called it the Web Designer. And when we're looming, you will see why that name, why I gave the bracelet that name. I also want to tell you that should you have made a Rainbowloom design of your own and you want to do me the honor of letting me make a tutorial for you, please stay tuned till the end of this video because I will tell you how you can contact me. And remember, you can always pause the video to catch up, rewind to watch something again, and of course you can always speed up if I'm going too slow for you. I will always put timestamps in my tutorial, so you can find certain parts really quickly by clicking the timestamps in the description box below. I will speed up the video through the repetitive or boring parts, okay? So just tap pause until you're caught up. And that's it. Enough ballyhoo, let's grab our stuff and let's get looming. For today's design you will need at least one loom and your bracelet will be about this size when it comes off the loom. So you will probably need an extension for it to fit your wrist, or you put another loom behind this one and you go about halfway up or more, depending on your wrist size. All the steps remain the same, so you can just follow along with what I'm doing because I'm using only one loom today for this tutorial. And if you need help making an extension, you can always check the end of my Luxor tutorial for 2 quick and easy ways to make one. Of course, you will also need your C-clip for closing purposes, and my little helper here is never far away when I'm looming. And of course, you will need some bands. I will be using 4 colors for this bracelet in the same color scheme as this one, but you can use whatever colors you want, of course. I will always let you know what part of the bracelet the bands we lay down correspond to. Okay, so you can just choose your own colors. Your loom should be set up in this position here, so all the pins aligned. And we're starting with the openings in the pins facing away from us. Now, in case you like to put some bling or beads on your bracelet, like I always love to do, the signature side faces down on this bracelet. So it comes off the loom upside down. First, we're going to be laying a simple border around the outside of our loom all the way to the top and have the bands meet in the middle. So those will be the bands that make up that little ridge at the top of the bracelet here. It's also sticking up a bit, you see. So that's black for me. And the first 2 bands always go out to the corner. So from the middle pin to the corner on the left and from the middle pin to the corner on the right. And then we're simply going to follow the border all the way to the top and have the bands meet in the middle on that middle pin at the top. Make sure you push your bands down to make room for the next layer. Okay, do that on the other side as well. Go all the way to the top. Have them meet in the middle here, on that middle pin at the top. Now we push all our bands down to make room for the next layer. There. Next we're going to be laying some bands on these 3 pins here, in 2 columns going all the way up. We'll start on one side of the loom first and then do the other side. That's very important for the next step. And those are the bands that you see in between here. So the purple and green in my case. You can choose whatever colors you want to. You can have every row alternating like this, or you can keep them all the same, like I did here. It's all up to you. What is important, like I said, is that you do one side at a time. So I'm going to be alternating between purple and green. And we're also placing a band on top of that last border band there. Don't forget that, okay? Now we do the same thing on the other side. alternating the colors all the way up, and don't forget to put that last band on the border up there as well. Oops, shut that one. And the last one on top of my border as well. Make sure you push everything down to make room for the next layer. Now that we laid all these bands and we push them down, we're going to be laying a single chain in the middle row going all the way up. But while we're doing that, we're also going to be working with the bands we just laid. So you need to grab your hook for that. And that single chain that we're laying going all the way up is that white you see here in the middle. So making that round shape or the W shape. Okay. What we're going to be doing, we start on the bottom pin in the middle right here, lay a band going straight forward, and then we go with our hook to the back of that pin, and we're going to flip over the bands we just laid, and we put them on the band in the front. Now you can do that one at a time, or you can grab both bands at the same time. Now we do the same thing again. You place one band going forward, go to the back of that pin, grab those two bands and put them on the band we just laid in the front. Okay, so you have a front band here and the back band here. And we do that all the way up. Let me show you again. Go to the back of the pin and you grab the bands you laid, put them on that band you just laid going forward. Okay? And you do this all the way to the top. Make sure you don't forget to flip over the last bands we laid on the border here. They also have to go on the band in front. There, and make sure you push everything down, and now we can go back to the beginning of the loom and work on the next step. Now this next step is the actual loony part of this tutorial, so pay close attention. What we're going to be doing is crossing these two bands over. But while we're crossing them, we're also weaving them through each other. So what I mean by that, you have a front band here and you have the back band on this side, right? And that should be the same going all the way up. Now we're going to put our hook into that front band and grab the back band and pull that back band through that other band and put it on the pin diagonally on the corner right here. Now make sure that you keep the band straight, so do not put it on the pin like so, twisted, because then it's not open. You see, you have that little cross there. So make sure you keep it open. And the other band is pretty easy because you can just take it and put it on the pin. And now we have that open cross that you see here. Okay, let me show you that again. So you have that band in the front and you have the band in the back. So you put your hook in the front band, you grab that back band, the top side of it, and you pull it through and put it on the pin. Make sure to not twist it. That's one half of the cross, and you do the same thing on the other side. Well, not the exact same thing, but you also put it on the pin and make that cross. Okay, let me show you that again. Put your hook in the front band, grab the back band, and you weave them through each other. Put it on the pin, make sure it's not twisted, and then the other side, you can just grab this band because it's on top and put it on the pin. Okay. I have to be careful not to make shadows so you can see it really well. Do that again. You put your hook in the front band, grab the back band, weave it through each other, put it on the pin diagonally, and then on the other side you can just grab it and put it on. Make sure that you keep the crosses open here. Do not twist the bands, okay? And we do this all the way up the loom. Once you've woven all your crosses, your loom should look like this, and make sure that the crosses are all open so you don't have any twisted bands. Okay, all the way to the top of the loom. Make sure they're all open. Now we're going to be working with parts of those crosses we just made. Now if we look inside that inner chain here, you can see that where the big crosses cross, we have two little crosses. And we're going to be working with those two right now. So we have one at the back and one at the front. And what we're going to be doing is grab the cross at the back in the middle with our hook. It's actually two bands, right? You have one on the top and one at the bottom. So you grab them both, you pull them towards you and put them on the pin in front, like so. Okay, so you grab that little cross in the middle, pull both bands towards you and put it on the pin in front. And you do this all the way up. So you grab the cross at the back, farthest away from you. There. Now we go back to the beginning and we're going to be working with the other cross that's still left here inside that inner chain. And we're going to do the exact opposite. So we're going to grab it from the back and we are going to push it through to the pin in front. As you can see, it warps that inner chain, but that's okay. That's supposed to happen, and you can see really clearly if you've missed a cross, because you will see that the band stays straight and doesn't warp. So again, you grab the cross and you put it on the pin in front. Grab the cross, put it on the pin in front. And now you can see I missed one because the chain isn't warped. Okay, so you just go in and put it on the pin in front. So you grab that little cross and we do the exact opposite. Push it to the front. Also do it with the last cross, and sometimes that travels to the bottom of the chain, but that's okay, that doesn't matter. And this one doesn't warp because it only has one cross tugging on it, one little cross tugging on it. So it's supposed to look like this. Okay, now make sure you push everything down so you're ready for the final layer. So now that we pushed everything down, our loom looks like this. And this is how the bracelet got its name. To me, it looked like we're weaving a web. So, okay, now we're ready for the final layer. And what we're going to be doing is laying another border on top of the border we laid in the beginning, matching it exactly. So the first two bands go out from the center pin down here to the corners. Do the same thing on the right. Make sure you push your bands down. And then we're simply going to follow that border all the way up, meeting in the middle, like we did with the first border. Okay? Same thing on the other side. And we have them meet in the middle at the top, like so. Okay, so now we're going to push all our bands down and turn our loom around for the first part of the flipping and the stretching and the looming we're going to do. Now that we pushed our last layer down and we have turned our loom around, the openings in the pins are facing us again, and we're ready to do some flipping. And what we're going to do is flip the back side of that border that we laid first, so that's black for me. And we're going to flip the back side of that band over the pin. So this is the front, we grab it at the back, and we flip that over the pin that it's resting on, like so. And we do that all the way up, but we do not flip over the bands that are meeting in the middle, so the horizontal ones, and we do not flip over our last vertical one. So this is the last one you're flipping over. Okay, and we have the same thing on the other side. You're going to locate the back side of that band and flip it over the pin. And again, do not flip over the two bands that are horizontally meeting in the middle, and do not flip over the last vertical band. So not this one and not these two. This is the last one you're flipping over. Okay, let's do that and meet at the bottom again. Once you flipped over all your bands, your loom should look like this. And you have not flipped over these last two vertical bands here going up and not these two at the back here. Okay, now we're ready to do some looming. We're going to be looming up that inner chain, but before we can do that, we need to put a cap band on that middle pin here first. So let's do that. And we need to get these two bands out of the way. They are part of that top border that we laid last. And we're not simply going to loop them back to themselves because they are part of the bypass border that you see here. The white one here at the side. So that means that these bands do not go to themselves, but they bypass the pin that they're originated from and go to the next pin over. Okay, so we go into the cap band and we grab our topmost border band. In my case, that's the white one. And instead of looming it back to itself, you bypass it and you put it on the next pin over. Let go. Okay, same thing on the other side. Now down here looks a bit silly because you go around the corner when you bypass it. There. Now first we're going to loop up that inner chain. Okay, so you go into the pin and you grab that chain going forward. Can be a little bit tight because of the crosses that we stretched over those pins. So maybe that you have to do some digging. You grab that inner chain and you loop it back to itself. Okay, again, grab that inner chain and you loom it back to itself. Grab that inner chain, it's all the way at the bottom, loom it back to itself. Can get a little bit tight in here, so don't just forcefully put it on the pin in front. If you feel like you're getting too much resistance, just pull it towards you a little bit to create some room and then put it on the pin in front. Okay, we do this all the way up. Once you looped up your inner chain, your loom should look like this. Even more like a web if you ask me. And now we're ready to loom up the rest of that bypass border. Now we already loomed these two bands out of the way when we looped up that inner chain, so those bands are resting here already. So what we're going to have to do now is back up one pin, and we're going to grab the topmost band here. And instead of looming it back to itself, you bypass that pin around the outside and put it on the next pin over, like so. Okay, then you back up one. You grab the topmost band that's in there. Do not loom it back to itself. No, you bypass it around the outside and you put it on the next pin over. Again, back up one. Grab the topmost band. Bypass it on the outside and on the next pin over. Okay, you do this all the way up until you reach the corner. Now I'll meet you back there. I'll show you on the other side first too. So we go, the band we already loomed out of the way, is resting on this pin right here. So we back up one, we go inside that corner pin, grab the topmost band and do not loom it back to itself, but one pin over. Back up one, grab the topmost band, bypass around the outside and on the next pin over. Okay, do this all the way to the top until you attach a band to the corner right there. I will meet you back there to show you how to finish it. So at the top of the loom here, we attached our last bands to the corner pins. And now we have to back up one, and the same thing goes as at the bottom. We have to now go around the corner and put our bypass band on that pin here in the middle. And the same thing on the other side. We grab it, we go around the corner and put our band on the pin in the middle. And these last two top border bands, we don't have anything to bypass, so we're simply looming them back to themselves and to that pin in the middle. Okay, can get a little bit tight. Let me loosen that up here. There. Same thing on the other side. You just loom it back to itself. Okay, now make sure you push all your bands down because now we're ready for the last step. Now the final step is pretty easy because we're simply going to loom up that first border that we laid, so the black bands in my case. They will be all the way at the bottom of your pins. And these will be loomed back to themselves all the way to the top. and you have them meet in the middle over here. Okay, do not forget to loom these last 2 bands to the middle pin over here. So the first 2 will be in our cap band and get loomed back to themselves on the corners. Over there. And then we go in the corner pins and we grab the band all the way at the bottom. There are a few bands in here, so sometimes you have to help a bit and do some digging. And ooh, don't pop that band off, please. Okay, and just loom it back to itself. You can see it gets a bit tight, so be careful. I have had bands breaking, so just be gentle. Okay, we go in the bottom, back to itself. And you do this all the way to the top on both sides of your loom, okay? Just take your time because there are a lot of bands on these pins. Okay, same thing on the other side. We go into the corner first. Grab the one at the bottom. Loom it back to itself. There we go. And I will meet you back at the top where the bands meet in the middle, okay? Now the last 2 bands we loomed are the ones going to the middle here. We have them meet in the middle as well. Let's push that down a bit. And the last step we have to do now is tie off our bracelet so it doesn't fall apart on us when we take it off the loom, of course. And to do that, I always put my hook through that pin at the top where all the bands meet, all the way to the bottom. Have it stick out on the side, like so. Okay, so it's all the way at the bottom and have it pop out at the back. And then we take 1 extra band, whatever band you want to put your C-clip on. You put it on your hook and you pull your hook up through all those bands. Just take your time for that. Make sure not to drag any other bands with you, but only that band you want to put your C-clip on. And then you put the other end of that band on your hook as well. And now you can either leave it on your hook like so. I've seen people do that too, or you put your C-clip on there. But what I always do, you probably guessed it by now, I use my trusty little sidekick and tie it off. So I'm sure that those bands aren't going anywhere. And I am fumbling around. Can you imagine how clumsy I am with a C-clip? Okay, so now I'm ready to take my hook out. And I highly advise you not to just rip your bracelet off the loom because there is a lot of tension on it. So we're simply going to make a beginning to grab a hold of when we want to take it off the loom. So we loosen up some of the bands from the pins right here. You've probably seen me doing that before and other people too. Just take off the sides a bit so we get a small piece that we can take in our fingers. There we go. And now we have that piece that we can grab a hold of and we gently wiggle the rest of our bracelet. See, it's pretty tight. So if you feel like you're getting too much resistance, please just let go of that piece and take more bands of the pins. Okay, so you don't ruin your bracelet now in this final moment. That would be a shame. Okay, so once you have it off your loom, it should come out looking like this. Stretch it up and down a bit, sideways, and there you have it. Well, that was it, Looney Loomers, for my 6th tutorial. I hope you all had fun making my web designer bracelet. I sure had fun creating it and making the tutorial for you guys. Filming, prepping, editing, it still takes me so long, but I'm getting quicker already, so I'm learning. Please remember, when you have made this bracelet and you post it on social media, don't forget to tag me in the pictures and use the hashtags you see on your screen right now. So 33shintera33 and web designer bracelet, so I don't miss seeing your beautiful creations. Please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel with the button you find on your screen right here. Please find me on Instagram too for more of my content and creations, and so you can see what tutorials will be coming up next. I will be posting sneak peeks and previews. The link to that is in the description box below. And should you have any questions or comments or feedback, please feel free to message me here or on Instagram as well. You're always welcome here. Also, should you have made a design you want me to make a tutorial for, please feel free to contact me on Instagram or here, send me a private message, and if you can, please send me some pictures as well, and we'll see if I can make a tutorial for you as well. I'd be honored. Stay tuned, turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything, stay colorful, stay creative, and most of all, stay loony. That's all, folks.